Casey, are you there? No, she's not here today, guys.
I'm here. I tried to not yawn, and I held it for so long until the very end, and then I had to do it.
Oh, okay. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Are you ready to learn more about the Bible?
Are you?
I know the Bible.
Oh.
You're
gonna tell me all about it, huh?
Yeah, we're covering like the rest of Amos, and then we're gonna get into some other. We're getting back into like the story besides Amos.
Okay.
You know, so last time Amadeus gave us some fire locusts and punishment from God, right? Like he told us that we were gonna get punished. We weren't gonna have a safe word this time. It's not pretty. But the priests got angry at Amadeus. Right? They claimed that Amadeus. They claimed that Amadeus was starting a conspiracy YouTube channel where he was claiming that Jerry II will die by a knife to the scrotum. The priests, they tell Amadeus to fuck off. Amadeus then comes back with telling them that the priest that told him to fuck off, his wife was going to get fucked pretty hard, and then his entire family was going to die, and then he will also die. So fuck him.
This is like telenovela.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in Israel, Jerry II dies somehow. We're not exactly sure why, but we can only guess it was from a knife to the scrotum. Zakatak tried to be king, but only lasted for like 6 months. At that point, Shallow Hal conspired against Zakatak to kill him. I don't know if you guys remember, but Jehu had some Chinese food at one point, had a fortune cookie that told him about some kind of number of generations that will sit on the throne or something. Well, that got fulfilled when apparently Shallow Hal killed Zakatak. Shallow Hal, though, he only reigned for like a month. Then this guy, his name's ManyHams. I don't know why it's ManyHams. Maybe he was like a butcher or something. He just had a lot of hams. Anyways, yeah, little hams. ManyHams assassinated Shallow Hal and took over. ManyHams, he also attacked a tipsy bar and killed all the pregnant ladies that were inside. Apparently it was a fetish tipsy bar. And then he reigned for 10 years. For some reason. I don't know why this guy gets to reign for 10. But anyways, he fucked up in the eyes of God and he did a bunch of evil. But the evil that we're talking about here is sucking another god's dick and not like killing pregnant women. Back in Judah, meanwhile in Judah, Azzy caught some pride and entered the temple and burned incense where it was supposed to be burned. You may be confused by this. Let me elaborate. God didn't like that, because he had designated certain people to be able to burn the incense. And this was considered evil in the eyes of God, and he was therefore unfaithful to God because he didn't follow God's strict procedures. As he then started to shit a brick, and leprosy broke out on his head when God placed his dick there. Then as he got the hell out of there, and he had leprosy for the rest of his life. And then his son Joth was named co-regent because obviously we can't have a leprosy-ridden king running shit. So his son Joth had to actually run shit. He was just sort of king in title or something. It's kind of like the queen now, except she doesn't have leprosy.
That we know of.
And that's all for today. So I hope that you heathens love that. I know I did. I think we could pack it up and go home. We're right over 5 minutes. So
okay. I think we should probably hit a few things that, I mean, the basic premise of some things you actually did a pretty good job of hitting, but we maybe should.
It was the knife to the scrotum part. That's the part I got right.
That part is definitely wrong. But we might, well, I mean, it might not definitely be wrong. We don't know, but I can explain if we go ahead and just go through it.
Okay.
Okay.
What's up, heathens?
How y'all doing?
So as we stated before, I didn't get everything right.
Mm-hmm.
Casey, can you please correct me on the few minor aspects that I got a little off?
Yeah, but I did enjoy this though. Listening to your rendition of it it really is like a telenovela. Yeah. I really like it. Yeah. I mean, it might be just a little bit offensive, but whatever. Okay, so we know the last time that we talked that we were going through Amos, and we read all of Amos last time except for this section of chapter 7 where it gives the priest's response to everything that Amos was saying, because he was saying that everybody was going to be killed, and we debunked fire locusts last time. So,
but I love the imagery of locusts on fire attacking. That seems like a superpower that somebody should have.
I know. Now there were locusts and there was fire, but they weren't together. And so the priests in Israel are kind of freaking out because Amos is kind of freaking everybody out, right? So today we're starting Amos chapter 7, and we're going to do verses 10 through 17. So are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Then Amaziah, the priest of Bethel, sent a message to Jeroboam, king of Israel. Amos is raising a conspiracy against you in the very heart of Israel. The land cannot bear all his words, for this is what Amos is saying. Jeroboam will die by the sword, and Israel will surely go into exile, away from their native land. Then Amaziah said to Amos, "Get out, you seer. Go back to the land of Judah. Earn your bread there and do your prophesying there. Do not prophesy any more at Bethel, because this is the king's sanctuary and the temple of this kingdom." Amos answered Amaziah, "I was neither a prophet nor a prophet's son, but I was a shepherd, and I also took care of sycamore fig trees. But the Lord took me from tending the flock and said to me, 'Go prophesy to my people Israel. Now then, hear the word of the Lord. You say, do not prophesy against Israel and stop preaching against the house of Isaac. Therefore, this is what the Lord says. Your wife will become a prostitute in the city, and your sons and daughters will fall by the sword. Your land will be measured and divided up, and you yourself will die in a pagan or unclean country. And Israel will certainly go into exile away from their native land.'"
Yeah, see? Your wife's gonna get fucked hard, and the rest of your family's gonna die, and then you're gonna fucking die. So fuck you! Fucking priests.
So apparently that's God's response to them telling Amos to get the F out.
Yeah, see, that's God talking. That's not me talking. That's God talking. So, I mean,
through Amos.
Through Amos. But, I mean, you get what I'm saying. Don't be mad at me. I'm just speaking for God. This seems blasphemous.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, so this Amos preaching at this time, his prophesying, causes some chaos in Israel, not just among the people, but also amongst the leadership. So we're going to get back into 2 Kings chapter 14 and 15. In some here in a little bit. Well, we're going to get to Chronicles when we go back to Judah, so we'll just do that later. But 2 Kings chapter 14, here we go. As for the other events of Jeroboam's reign, all he did in his military achievements, including how he recovered for Israel both Damascus and Hamath, which had belonged to Yaudi, or Judah. It's a Hebrew word for Judah. Mm-hmm. Are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Israel? Jeroboam rested with his fathers in the kings of Israel.
Of course they're in the anal kings. He's an anal king, guys.
So it doesn't say how Jeroboam died. Now, Amos says that Jeroboam is going to die by the sword, right? Jeroboam will die by the sword. But it doesn't say that's what happens. It doesn't say that's not what happens. We have no idea why Jeroboam died, how he died, what the conditions surrounding it were, or anything. So now the king of Israel is dead. Zechariah, his son, succeeded him as king. In the 38th year of Azariah, king of Judah, Zechariah, son of Jeroboam, became king of Israel in Samaria, and he reigned for 6 months. He did evil in the eyes of the Lord, as his fathers had done. He did not turn away from the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, which he had caused Israel to commit. Now, those specific sins that they're talking about, the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, those are the worshiping other gods, or not even him worshiping other gods, but allowing the worship of other gods to happen in Israel.
Right. And generally this is what's known as doing evil in the eyes of God.
Yeah. So that and the other thing, not taking down the high places. Even if you don't allow people to worship, if you don't take down the high places from which they do, you're doing evil in the eyes of the Lord. And this is the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat. So that's what these mean.
I mean, you really can't have other dick-sucking palaces for other gods. I mean, God really doesn't like that.
So, Shallum, son of Jabesh, conspired against Zechariah. He attacked him in front of the people, assassinated him, and succeeded him as king. The other events of Zechariah's reign are written in the book of the Annals of the Kings of Israel.
The book which we have no information on. We don't have it at all, but yet everything seems to be contained in there.
Everything else is written there. All the things you need to know are written in this book of the Annals of the Kings of Israel, but no one has ever seen this book.
No.
It has not been found. It would be very interesting to me if manuscripts from this were found. That would be very interesting. Like legit ones, right? Okay, so the word of the Lord spoken to Jehu was fulfilled. Your descendants will sit on the throne of Israel to the 4th generation. So when Shallum obviously became king, succeeded Zechariah, that's when this happened. So Shallum, son of Jabesh, became king in the 39th year of Uzziah, king of Judah. And they keep going back and forth, and I know this is a little confusing, so I'll just clear it up right here, because we're going to see it again here in a few minutes. Uzziah, Uzziah, king of Judah, and Azariah, Azariah, are the same person. Okay, it's the king of Judah. He's named differently. Sometimes they refer to him as Uzziah. Sometimes they refer to him as Azariah.
Just call him. This is the Azzy fuck I was talking about, right?
Yeah.
Azzy fuck.
Or it
That's
could
his
be,
name.
or it could be Uzzy.
Uzzy
or Azzy.
I'm saying Azzy fuck. Just call him an assy fuck. Assy fuck. There you go. Assy fuck.
I don't think that's useful in clearing up the confusion. I think it adds a little to the confusion, but
I don't think so.
I'm sure you don't. So just keep that in mind. Uzziah and Azariah. Now, not all Azariahs, but when they were referring to the king of Judah, same guy.
I can't get Azzy fuck out of my head. Anyway, go ahead.
So Shallum, he reigned in Samaria for 1 month.
Shallow Hal.
Yes, Shallow Hal. Then Menahem, son of Gadi, went from Tirzah up to Samaria. He attacked Shallum, son of Jabesh, in Samaria, assassinated him, and succeeded him as king. The other events of Shallum's reign and the conspiracy he led are written in the book of the Annals of the Kings of Israel.
Of course.
All about the conspiracy is in that book. You just got to read that book, and everything is there.
Everything. Don't worry, we wrote it down. But we're going to lose it.
Yeah. So, at that time, Menahem, starting out from Tirzah, attacked Tipsah and everyone in the city and its vicinity because they refused to open their gates. He sacked Tipsah and ripped open all of the pregnant women because that's normal. In the 39th year of Azariah, king of Judah, Menahem, son of Gadi, became king of Israel. He reigned in Samaria 10 years. He did evil in the eyes of the Lord. During his entire reign, he did not turn away from the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, which he had caused Israel to commit.
Right. And those particular sins were about interfaith, like allowing other faiths to worship.
Yeah, well, we just talked a minute ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
we explained that just a second ago.
Yeah.
Same deal.
There. I just wanted to reinforce that is what the evil was, not killing pregnant women.
Oh, yeah, we totally just glossed over the fact that he just went into a city and randomly ripped open all of the pregnant women.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's horrible, but also because I could see a lot of apologists being like, well, that's not, like, God didn't like that. Like, that's not God's doing.
It doesn't say that, though.
It doesn't say that it's not God's doing, but it also doesn't say that that is the evil that he did. The evil is specific, like the phrase evil in the sight of God is specifically about worshiping other deities, not about causing.
No, not that phrase. When he's saying he did evil in the eyes of the Lord, the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat. That's the phrase that means that's what refers to the worshiping of other
Right.
Okay, so that's because it harkens back to, we've gone through several, iterations of this, and this is what that was about.
Right. Sorry. Got mixed up there. But yeah, so it was just about sucking other god dick.
Yeah. That the evil in the eyes of the Lord is always, most always, I'm not sure if every single instance, but typically paired with the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat. Like, they're paired together usually, but evil in the eyes of the Lord can mean other stuff and has meant other stuff, but it's usually paired with this, but that's the main kicker. Okay, so Menahem is king in Israel for 10 years at this point, or well, is going to be for 10 years. So, meanwhile in Judah, after Uzziah, or Azariah, king,
As he fuck.
became powerful, his pride led to his downfall. He was unfaithful to the Lord his God and entered the temple of the Lord to burn incense on the altar of incense, which seems like this would be a normal thing, right? This doesn't seem like this would be a problem. He's burning incense on the altar of the incense. He's the king of Judah.
Yeah.
This shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, but I mean, God has also been pissed off about incense in the past. Remember when he shoved 2 fireballs up Aaron's son's asses?
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Azariah, and I know this is confusing because you have Uzziah or Azariah, the king of Judah, being confronted by Azariah, which is not himself, but the head priest guy, right?
Yeah.
And which is why in this passage they refer to him as Uzziah to keep it more clean, because Uzziah is the king, Azariah is the priest. Okay, so Azariah the priest with 80 other courageous priests of the Lord followed him in. 80, right? They confronted him and said, "It is not right for you, Uzziah, to burn the incense of the Lord. That is for the priests, the descendants of Aaron, who have been consecrated to burn incense. Leave the sanctuary, for you have been unfaithful, and you will not be honored by the Lord God." Uzziah, who had a censer in his hand ready to burn incense, became angry. While he was raging at the priests in their presence before the incense altar in the Lord's temple, leprosy broke out on his forehead. When Azariah, the chief priest, and all the other priests looked at him, they saw that he had leprosy on his forehead, so they hurried him out. Indeed, he himself was eager to leave because the Lord had afflicted him. King Uzziah had leprosy until the day he died. He lived in a separate house, leprous and excluded from the temple of the Lord.
I feel like this could be a good little public service announcement from God. This is what happens when God teabags you. Leprosy on your forehead. Don't fuck with me.
So when it says he lived in a separate house, he also was unable to rule, right? So he was relieved of his responsibilities as king, but he was still king. But since he couldn't rule properly, Jotham, his son, had charge of the palace. He was named co-regent. He had charge of the palace and governed the people of the land. And in this section, we also picked up some 2 Chronicles, chapter 26, a few verses from there. Okay, so that's all for this week. And I know it's a little short.
That's okay.
But next week, we're going to start into the prophecies of Isaiah.
Oh my God, Isaiah? Really?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so excited. I need to get all my Mythicist notes up.
So Isaiah is interesting. Isaiah is a prophet in Judah, and how Amos prophesied in Israel, Isaiah is going to do similar things in Judah. Isaiah is probably the most well-known and greatest evangelistic prophet ever known, right, to the Israelite people.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have some time here with Isaiah. And
Isaiah is pretty long. I know the famous quote from Isaiah 45, whatever the fuck, where he talks about creating evil and darkness. I mean, that's 45 chapters in, so I don't know exactly how.
Yeah, and since this is broken up since it's broken up chronologically, I don't think we're not going to do all of Isaiah at once, kind of like how we haven't done all of much at once, but we're going to get next week. What we're going to do is we're going to get into Judah's sins, and there's going to be some parables, and we're going to get into their sins and what they've done. And they've done a lot of bad shit, pages and pages of bad shit. And then following that, we're going to talk about how God's angry and
Judah done fucked up. They're going to get teabagged by God, and it's just not going to be leprosy.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
and some of the punishments. We're going to go into some of the punishments, but it's going to be a few weeks before we get deep into Isaiah.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to start off Isaiah. We're going to be going through various portions of Isaiah for a while.
Okay.
But they're going to be intermingled with the story, kind of like how it's been the rest of the time.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, next week we start Isaiah, and that's where all of the good, horrible shit starts, I guess. More or maybe just a continuation of horrible shit.
I was going to say, you mean horrible shit hasn't started yet? Have you been present for this entire series?
Next week we continue with the horrible shit in the Bible.
That hurt.
I hope you guys will tune in then.
Don't forget to stand up and use your voice.
Bye, heathens.
Bye, y'all.